Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Severance by Story Archives. I'm your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other host, Zachary, Dane. Welcome back.
We're back with Season 2, Episode 9, titled The After Hours. And I don't know why it's called The After Hours.
You were confused
after watching
too.
that episode. Yeah, I don't know why it's called The After Hours.
I didn't understand it at all. I guess the only thing I could tie to the title is Milchick's line that he delivers to Drummond, where he's like, "That's not my responsibility after they're off work," or something like that. That's yours.
That's a good point. It could be that. I feel like Milchick has an opportunity to be badass in the season finale. It feels like we're heading there. I was actually hoping he'd stop the little girl from getting on the bus.
Really?
But
I don't like her.
yeah, because I was like, he's been such a prick to her the whole season.
She's been a prick to him.
Yeah, but she's a prick because of the system. She's a prick because this is the system she's raised in. Imagine Milchick as a little kid. He'd be such a prick.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. So, there's that whole bit. It's gearing up. Once again, this was another setup episode. Last week wasn't a setup episode, but it was a setup episode at the same time.
Last week was a vibe. That's what last week was.
Yes, last week was sweet vitriol. It was a vibe. It was Cobell's story, her backstory, and everything we need to know going forward. So yeah, technically it did build up. But this was literally a build up. We got every single character in the show. Got a little bit of love. Mm-hmm. It does make me wonder, are we losing some players for the finale, or are they all going to come in and play a role? Because now we have Irv is gone on the train, which felt a little bit like there's a term I'm looking for when you don't meet expectation, you subvert expectation. So he's gone. Subvert expectations. So Irv is gone. Dylan is gone. He resigned. Is he dead? Is any Dylan gone? Of course not. Lumen doesn't seem to let anybody go free.
Yeah.
But how's he going to come back? Helly R is highly motivated, which felt odd. I don't remember her being this particularly motivated. I just wasn't expecting her to spring into action like this. Am I the only one out there who felt this way?
No, I wasn't really expecting her to spring into action. I mean, I know she cares for Mark, so I suppose I can understand that side of it. And it's not like she was motivated to work. She was motivated to explore and try and figure out more of the mystery going on with Irv's very long series of directions on that note. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it as strongly as it came out.
I was half the time wondering, is this Helena again or is this Helly? When the episode starts and she's just frantically looking for Mark, I was thinking, oh, we're back to Helena being down here because this is the final day Cold Harbor's supposed to be completed. Mm-hmm. But no, it seems like it was truly Helly because of a few different things that caught my attention. Obviously, her reaction to Dylan's asshole-ish comment about Mark not knowing the difference between Helly and Helena. Mm-hmm. And her father showing up at the end saying, "You tricked me, my Helly." What does that even mean? How did he trick her?
I don't know. That was if I had to describe this episode in one word, it would probably just be weird. The whole scene with Jamie Egan just walking in towards the end of the episode threw me. I was not expecting him to be there. And I don't know what, I don't think he was talking to her. I felt more like he was just saying this to himself. Maybe, is it possible he just didn't know some of the stuff going on? I think Drummond said they were withholding information from Jamie Egan in a previous episode, right? So maybe it was some comment on that.
I don't recall that. I think the weirdest thing in this episode was that boiled egg cutter that you have the freeze frame on.
Yeah, I left it here because it was the most interesting looking thing in this episode for me, and I
thought it was going to be a bald mozzarella for a second.
I don't know why it was so. It was this scene was weird too with Jamie Egan and Helen. Looking at the egg cut like that was pretty satisfying. watching her take these little bites were stressful to me. I'm like, dude, just eat the freaking egg.
You would find it satisfying to see that thing.
It would.
Like, it was satisfying the way it sliced the egg.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's bothering me how the slices are not even the way she has it lined up there.
Yeah.
Unless she does line it up.
I just don't like how she's like cutting off the white of the egg and like eating like tiny bites of it. I just wanted her to eat the egg.
What I found weird is she asked her dad, "Do you want to eat anything?" He says, "No, I'll watch."
Yeah.
I mean, and then the coffee he pours out looked like sludge. Like, it just looked like mud coming out of the thing. And then I'm thinking, is this old man not human? Do they got like, is he drinking motor oil? Like, what's going on here? What was it? Was that coffee? Because it looked like sludgy coffee. If that's the case.
I don't. Well, okay. Well, you didn't mention the weirdest part of that whole interaction to me, which was when Jay Megan says to Helen, "I wish you would take them raw."
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell he was referring to there.
The egg. He was talking about the egg. Eat the egg raw. Maybe that's what was in his cup.
The egg raw?
Maybe that's what was in his cup. This gross sludge.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what he said,
when
bro.
When she got up from the table, that was my first thought too. I thought she was gonna get up to go eat a raw egg, and I was like, "Is this what this family's gonna do now? Like, this is what we're doing?"
That's what he wanted.
But he's just weird. He's very weird.
The whole thing's weird. He's definitely weird. Like, he's just this very mysterious figure. We
also got this sort of subtle foreshadowing from Cobell talking to the birth center security guard, saying that she had another one. This is one of James, which means I think James just be either raping women or sleeping with women to make more offspring, which means that there are a lot of Egans out there. Could there be more? Could some of them be people we've already met that are bastard children of James Egan? Could there be a reason why these employees all sort of talk like him? Milchick, Cobell, are they all like offshoots of his? Who knows?
Yeah, it would be interesting. I could see that happening. Like, it's just some weird way of, I guess, furthering your lineage.
Devin looked different to me in this episode.
Devin, really?
Yeah, she looked different. Like, her facial structure looked different to me.
I didn't pick up on that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a different setting. Like, we've kind of seen her at home, like, all the time throughout the show. It's the first time we kind of saw her out in different, more, like, natural lighting, I guess.
Yeah. I think we let the show off the hook a little bit too much sometimes with some of the things. Like, specifically Mark. Mark and Devin's behavior sometimes just doesn't make any sense, like, to a logical thinking human being.
Mm-hmm.
You, at least on screen, have to have a moment where Mark and Devin look at Cobell and say, "Why are you holding Gemma a prisoner? Why on earth has nobody asked that?" That should be something that we have heard or got the explanation for.
Yeah, it felt like there should have been some sort of confrontation. Like, it wasn't even like a confrontation. Like, it was just Devin and Mark complaining and like bitching to each other about Cobell. But like, once they were there wasn't much in terms of dialogue. There was just like an awkward standoff for a moment. Call in. Sick.
I don't think a single character on this show has ever heard about a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Like, somebody tells you, "Hey, if Mark has completed Cold Harbor, Gemma's already dead." How about what does that mean? Why would she be dead? What the hell is Cold Harbor? Hey, why is my wife being held prisoner there?
It's also
none of these things.
It's also a little disappointing that almost felt like it was Cobell's only contribution to this episode was just that nugget that, like, oh, well, if you finish the file, she's dead, which kind of, I guess, confirms one of the theories or suspicions we had in the last episode about, like, well, what happens? And, you know, I think we were focused around like this Cold Harbor thing being about death in some way. Now, I don't know what that means for her. Maybe that means like there's like a part of her brain that doesn't die, and they're able to like retain that somehow. It just like this one half dies technically. But I wish there was more dialogue there. I wanted to understand more. I wanted there to be some like big like moment where there was like a deep conversation, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, cool. Well, Cobell's on our side. She's definitely on Mark's side. She wants to help out. She hates Lumen, which I think I would assume those feelings are true from the previous episode. But I just don't know what's going through her head. And I mean, I suppose I should expect that from this show, to be honest. Like, there's so much about the show where there's subtext. You have to read between the lines and everything. Like, nobody really comes out right and says anything in this that often.
Yeah, we got an interesting comment from a girl named, or her IG handle, Samantha. And this was about one of our clips we posted on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Which, by the way, if you haven't subscribed by now, you can do so because we're pumping out clips like nobody's business for the show. So all subscribers can help us. We're on a frantic mission. Can we do the impossible? Can we hit 1,000 subs before the end of Severance Season 2? That would be awesome, guys. That would be truly great. And if you don't subscribe, Zach, tell them what they can do.
Excuse me. You can go devour feculence.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to use that at work tomorrow. Monosyllabic.
Anyways, Samantha said, Cold Harbor equals death. It has to be the last one since it can only be tested once. And I happen to think she's right.
Yeah.
I think that is truly the thing here. So the final room is death. Now, what is it going to be? Are they looking for immortality? The rest of the rooms have been about not feeling the pain.
Mm-hmm.
So is this also that? Or I mean, it feels like pretty obvious to me. I feel like the meaning of Cold Harbor is pretty obvious. It's got to be, if you can escape the pain of the other rooms and the trauma of the other rooms and not remember them,
mm-hmm.
What if we sever the mind from death? Can we save the soul? Can we separate the person from the actual act of dying and then move that consciousness to something else?
Yeah. I feel like that's very plausible, and the only reason I kind of don't want it to be exactly that is it would kind of ruin my theory of the board being this AI upload or whatever of every other Egan's consciousness. So
I don't know if it does ruin that theory for you. This is all
but
about somebody
why
who's
need to
actually
test it,
alive.
Though? Why need to?
Because it's never been done before. So those people died prior to this being done. So now they got to reverse engineer it and figure out how they can maybe bring them back. But this is about people who are actually alive.
Mm.
So I don't think it would necessarily kill that theory. I think it if anything, it's supposed to be a breakthrough for the now, right?
Yeah. And it seems like cheating death would be a pretty big innovation. So
Helena says at the start of this episode to James that they've done something about the bailiff. I would assume she's referring to Irv, that Irv is some sort of bailiff of some sort.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, like, there was a big focus on Irv in this episode. Bert and Irv specifically.
Yeah, so could be that Irv is in law enforcement somehow. Seems pretty plausible.
Yeah. And
Bert, like a few listeners reached out to me and were very concerned about Bert being evil. It seems like, I don't think he's evil, but I do think that he is definitely a Lumen goon. And I'm a little bit underwhelmed to find out that his true reason for getting severed was because he liked some version of him being innocent. Yeah. I find that such a lame backstory.
Yeah.
Do people really... I mean, maybe that's coming from the perspective of... Right, because you're finding out that Bert and his husband are religious, like they go to church and they are supposedly Christian, right? That is like they go to a Christian church, right? I'm not wrong, or was it Catholic? I forget. I think it was Christian, though.
I think it was Christian, yeah.
So if you're gonna like go by the doctrine, you would know that your works do not save you by Christian doctrine. So like, to me, it doesn't line up with the reason, unless Bert just did not ever pay attention in the Bible studies of why Jesus died on the cross. You know, like...
yeah.
So to me, it's like a very weak reason to get severed. And I was very disappointed that was actually the thing. Now, if it was from a perspective of he's done horrible things and he just wanted a period of his life that he could get away from the things that he's done, that would be better to me. But that whole explanation about, oh, I was hoping that some part of me could go to heaven. But then again, I guess you got to like really suspend your disbelief in some way and like just have empathy. Like imagine, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's done
horrendous
things that they can't, that they just can't forgive themselves for. Could somebody who's done things that they can't forgive themselves for get to a point that they're just like really would do anything to forget them? I think it's, I guess it couldn't be the worst explanation.
I mean, your latter point there is where my head was at. I was thinking it was just like, Bert had done some really bad things, and like this was kind of in a weird way his way of coping with it, I guess, just by like knowing like, well, I'm not all bad because there is this innocent version of me that hasn't done all of this stuff. And so maybe that's the way to kind of read that. I will say I'm curious about what he actually did, though.
Well, that's all I was going to get to. Is he says he's never physically hurt anybody. He's just driven people places, which means he's just been morally at odds with himself. That he knows that the people he's been driving places have not come back, right? So he feels responsible for their death. So that's probably it. He's probably like a mass murderer, or he feels complicit in an act of mass murder because he's an old man. So Lord knows how many decades he's been doing this for.
Yeah, there was a solid moment in here where I thought Irv was just gonna die, and it wasn't until he got on the train. Like once he got on that train, that's when I thought like, oh shoot, like Irv's gonna die, because there just really wasn't much else that happened in this episode. Like I was expecting there to be some really big hook or really big just like mic drop moment in this episode to just like make me like have to watch the next one right now. And I didn't really get that in this episode. I'm glad he's not dead, but I didn't get it in the episode. I don't know if you did.
No, but I do think that this show's very much flirting with death. In other words, it's a dark show that blends with dark humor most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. None of our main characters have died. None of our main characters have faced severe consequences for anything, right? For the most part, they haven't. I mean, like, yes, Gemma's been held prisoner, but, you get my point. Like, even Cobell, if Lumen was, like, truly evil, they could have hunted her down and killed her by now, right?
Yeah.
So this show has been almost flirting with death in a way, and that means that the first death that occurs on this show, because we're almost certainly going to get somebody who dies on this show, is going to be shocking, because we're 2 seasons in and it hasn't happened. And so when that whole Irv scene is happening, I'm thinking, is he about to get freaking The Departed right now? Is he about to get bullet in the back of the head? Coming out is any, Dylan about to, get Leo DiCaprio'd in the elevator? Like, what's gonna go down here? So part of me thinks that it would make the show better in some way to add the weight there, that these guys can die. There's not plot armor for any of these four. They can F around and find out.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see where that goes, right? Because now the impetus and the hot potato has been placed on Drummond's lap. He's been pushing the blame on anybody who manages the severed floor, when in reality it's his responsibility to what these guys do outside of work, right? Because what we find out in this episode is the severed floor managers are responsible for what happens on the severed floor while they're severed. But Drummond is technically responsible for the outside floors, right? The ones when they're outies. So what's that going to look like? Is Drummond going to kind of take it up a notch?
Yeah. Yeah. I do think the show could benefit from some gravity like that, like from a core character dying. It would be sad and it would suck.
Yeah, it would suck. But it would have felt horrible in this episode if Irving just got a bullet in the head.
Yeah, but I feel like we gotta,
especially from Bert. Oh my gosh.
That would. I mean, I wouldn't be super surprised coming from Christopher Walken, just like seeing him put a bullet in the back of Irv's head for some reason. Like I could just picture him doing that.
No, because then it would maybe add depth to his character, and he'd be like a scorned lover who killed his,
Well, it would make the argument of like the fact that he's just done horrible things all that much more convincing, and that's why he's severed himself. So, like, again, it would suck, but I think it would be interesting to see that much gravity like added to the show, and so that we do feel like there's consequences, because like
Stakes.
every consequence that we have seen has felt like some petty, stupid little HR produced corporate bullshit. Like that's what it's felt like to me. It's just the typical slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. That was bad. You know, you got to pay penance or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Shorter. Over and over.
Which I'm assuming we'll get the answers to in next episode, why it had to be this crew of people who got this project over the finish line, right? I wonder, like, going back to when Petey was alive, if this was still the main mission, Cold Harbor.
I think it had to be.
Or do each of them have a specific file that's unique to them?
I don't think they do. I feel like, I mean, look, we know Mark is the very important person. I mean, sure, maybe Irv and Dylan and
but
Helly.
there's a lot of stuff going on the Severed floor. There's a lot. It's not just them down there.
There is a lot. So yeah.
It can't just all be for Mark and Gemma.
Well,
there has to be some other.
Maybe macro data refinement is for Mark and Gemma, but maybe like these other random things, like with the freaking goats. What the hell is with the goats? I don't know.
Somebody drew a diagram. I don't know where the hell I saw it. I think it might have been Reddit or TikTok. I don't remember. But it was the wide shot you see of Lumen Industries. This is a good clip for YouTube. And it is in the shape of two different things. The person drew a diagram of, like, hold on, like a woman's womb. Right?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Hold on. I'm going to butcher pronunciation stuff. All right, so type in woman's reproductive system. Okay?
Oh, you want me to type that? Okay.
Yeah. Don't type in women's reproductive system. You're gonna see the fallopian tubes.
Yeah, I see that.
You're gonna see. Okay, now see if you can find a wide shot of Lumen Industries. If you can Google that, like the aerial sky shot of Lumen Industries.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what animal does it look like the women's reproductive system?
You mean like a goat head?
Yeah. So I feel like they're based on that. I think that person was spectacularly correct. See if you can find a Lumen Industries aerial view.
I am looking. Aerial.
Okay,
view.
here we go. I got a good one. We should put this in the YouTube clip.
It looks more like a brain, to be honest. Like the Lumen Industries aerial view.
Oh, let me see if I can text you a link here.
I literally see it's Lumen's design based on a coronal brain slice is what it. I mean, it's kind of convincing, but it would maybe make sense. I mean, like they do f with your brain.
Look at the image I sent you.
I am looking. Yeah, from that perspective, it kind of looks like a.
It's all about that perspective though, because that's the perspective that we see. Isn't that a spectacularly random slice right there on the bottom?
Yeah.
With the water tower right there? Because here's the other thing that we see. We see their house is also parallel to that water tower. So it's right across.
That's
and we're
interesting.
we're always playing with this sort of mirrored image thing going on in Severance, right? Because you have the whole innie outie situation, you have this, and then you see this, and you're like, okay, maybe they're trying to create life. Maybe they're trying to make eternal, immortality. All this sort of thing. I feel like they're just hinting at it. And then the goat, I don't know. I don't know what's up with the goat.
It is rather confusing. That's interesting. That we're gonna have to drop these photos in the video because everybody listening is gonna be like, WTF are you talking about?
Yeah.
But
and all credit to, let me see if I can find the person who put that out there, because that did not come from my mind. Geez, I put women's womb severance. That sounds horrible.
Wow. Well, you're gonna get some gnarly find results from that.
Somebody find this person and give them a shout out in the comments, because I'm telling you, it's a person's brilliant, whoever came up with it. Anyways, I see what you're saying now with the slice of the brain. Okay, yeah, maybe there's multiple types of images,
different perspectives.
Totally. I could see that. All right. What was the last thing I was saying before that?
You went off on a tangent about like the women's reproductive system. So,
True.
I don't remember where you were at before that.
Oh, well, perfect time to move on then. I feel bad for little Eustace Wang. It's the end of her Wintertide Fellowship. Milchick he's a prick towards her, man. He even breaks her little toy, or she has to break her toy. And we find out that she's literally getting sent to the North Pole, Svalbard. I had to Google it.
Oh, is that really the North Pole?
I looked it up. It's some Norwegian archipelago that exists up there. I think it's like an independent place. It does not connect it to any country.
Interesting.
Which, of course, would fit perfectly in this show to find places that exist but are not owned by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's a thing. He's cutting her fellowship short. And I hope that he kind of turns, if Milchick does get redeemed before the end of this season, I hope he kind of eases up on her.
I don't care about her that much. I really don't. I enjoyed watching her have to smash her stupid freaking toy. Where she just sit. Man. Yeah, but come on. She's a Lumen kid.
Yeah, but she cried for any Dylan. She was like, I should have facilitated better. She's a brainwashed kid, man.
Yeah, I know.
If you went to a cult and like saved the little kid out of a cult,
all right, look, if we're talking
get.
Real life, like what I want, no, I wouldn't want that. Of course, I would want the little kid to be safe and like have a good like surrounding and environment. But it's not, and I don't care too much about Huang. I feel like this is the end of her storyline. I don't know if there's really going to be much for her beyond this episode. I feel like she was really just there to kind of help move Milchick's character along. Yeah,
this is you. You're like the Michael Jordan meme in regards to
what Michael Jordan meme? You sent me a meme. F them kids.
That's you.
I'm missing the context. I have no idea what I just said.
I don't know what the context is, but it's a famous meme. That's what you are towards Eustace.
Oh my god.
Anyways, I hope Milchick changes his ways towards her. I ended up being completely right about Innie and Outie Dylan hating each other. Although,
yeah,
I was a little. I guess I wasn't expecting Innie Dylan to go out like that, to resign in frustration.
I wasn't expecting that. I fully expected Outie Dylan's response. That was not a surprise. Innie Dylan.
I think that would have been any Outie anybody's response to find out that their wife was cheating on them with their Innie.
Yeah, and we had a little debate about that, like in a previous episode. Would this be cheating? Would it not be cheating? I think we said it would be. Clearly,
I don't know.
Well, to Dylan.
Why doesn't every taken person out there ask their wife or significant other if you cheated on them with a version of themselves that they were not aware of? And let me know what they say. I guarantee you the woman's going to say, yeah, that's cheating. You got to love Gretchen, though. She cheats on her husband and immediately blames her husband for the reason that she cheated on him. You've just been so distant lately.
Cheats on her husband with her husband.
Yeah, you've been so distant lately. As he throws away, he was about to start eating healthy. Yeah. Throws out his fruit smoothie. Says back to cookies. I know how to
F this.
I know how to bake those things perfectly well. Look at me. And no, he throws that away. She immediately blames him, which is just rich. That's crazy. Yeah. That is absolutely zero accountability shithead behavior right there by Gretchen. How do you come in and say, hey, Outie, I kissed your Innie. And he's like, what? And then what's great is that Outie Dylan acts like Innie Dylan in that scene. He's like,
yeah, they
this is
came
all
together.
Kinds of. He said, this is all kinds of measures of effed up. What are you talking about? He said, what are you going to tell me? It didn't mean anything? like the classic, movie tropes type of stuff. But I was so shocked on how that one went down. She's obviously not a bad person, right? I mean, I guess debatable, whoever you ask out there. Because I think what she did to Innie Dylan's effed up.
That one almost felt worse than what she did to Outie Dylan in some weird, diabolical way.
I was thinking more like, put yourself in the shoes of Innie Dylan for a second. You are birthed in this world, this cubicle, white, luminescent world, okay? All you know is pushing buttons on a keyboard and work. One day, you find out that you have some true love and 2 kids outside of this world that you've never met before. And this person comes to your world that is absolutely hell. It's like literal purgatory. The only reason you don't know it's hell and purgatory is because you've never seen outside of it. Okay? Which also means, which is another reason why that Orpo episode doesn't really make a lot of sense, because they should have at least been freaking out at seeing nature for the first time. Yeah. Anyways. So then this magical woman appears who you find out loved you so much that she had a couple kids with you. And you're like, wow, this crappy existence actually has meaning. She cheats with him and then dips like the next meeting after the poor guy's made a freaking ring, a wedding ring from, I don't even know what he made that wedding ring
Probably
from.
paper.
Yeah. And she, oh my gosh, you want to talk about like just ruining? He essentially offed himself.
I was literally going to say he committed suicide in this episode is what happened. Like it hurt him that bad. He killed himself. That's the reality.
Yeah. That's dark.
Yeah.
That is some dark crap, man.
Makes you
and
wonder
then she
what
goes
Audie's gonna
all
do.
nonchalantly. She lies to her husband, goes behind his back. We find out that he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I've been distant. I've been trying to I've been trying to make money to feed our kids. And she's like, it's your fault. Like, whoa. Good Lord, man. Good. I think Audie Dillon needs to find another woman.
Oh, he needs to change something. He definitely needs.
And she goes, he reminds me of how you used to be. Oh man, that's crazy.
That cuts deep.
Anyway,
It's got to cut deep, dude.
Bro, he's just there trying to have his fruit smoothie for the morning.
Yeah, he's just like, F it. I'm gonna be a fat dude today. I'm just gonna eat cookies.
The whole scene, I just was writing in my notes, this is weird. This is so weird. Like, because it's not bad enough that she did that, but it's like, it's so weird that it's him.
Yeah.
It's still him in some ways. So
does that sting worse? Like, if your spouse cheated on you with you, is that worse than, like, just sleeping with somebody else random? Because, like, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, and hopefully I never know, but I feel like when people cheat a lot of time, it's more of like a physical thing. But if you were cheating on your spouse with a different version of your spouse, like, don't you think it'd be a lot more like emotionally involved as well? Like, I feel like that's worse.
You can't escape from yourself, and you can't, like, it's not going to be very productive to hate yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and like, I guess from the perspective of what you're saying, what that person does with somebody else is not a reflection on the person that they're hurting. It's not. It's a reflection on the piece of crap that they were either in that moment. Doesn't mean that they're going to be a piece of crap forever.
Yeah.
But in that moment, they're absolutely a piece of crap. And then you're right to like be disgusted with that person for the rest of your life, you know? But in this case, it's him. And so he's essentially like, oh, what, am I not enough? I'm the one who takes care of the kids. I'm the one who freaking severed my brain in half to take a job. Which, I mean, look, we both kind of feel like he's a bit depressed on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe the reason he did it. But what if he literally did it because he couldn't find a job in this hellhole of a town?
You mean selling doors?
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just imagine, let's just say it wasn't because of any sort of reason. Like that he was down or something like that. Maybe he was literally just trying to provide for his family. And so he severs himself in half. And his wife freaking cheats with his other half. And then lies to him. Bro, that's crazy. Leaves him with the kids so she can go and see his... Actually, no, that's not possible. I'll take that back. She can't leave him with the kids and go see his Vinny.
Yeah, it's not... I mean, they were with like a babysitter or something.
I would tell her to go get severed. And then I would get with her any.
Wow, you went dark on that.
No, I'm just kidding. Nah, bro.
Did you catch that? I think Gretchen is a police officer.
She's a police officer?
You didn't see what she was wearing in the kitchen that morning?
I know she's a security guard. I don't know if she's a police officer.
I mean, I thought she kind of like the badge on her like sleeve said 911 on it. Like, wouldn't you expect that to be like?
She reminds me of Pam from The Office a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. Not a lot of it.
Apparently, yeah, I didn't get it from The Office that much. She played in Signs, your favorite movie. Tracy Abernathy. I I don't recognize that.
Oh, she was young back then, though. Let me see.
Yeah, it was in
Please
2002.
Please don't listen to this episode. I'm so sorry for saying that.
Did you just tell her not to listen to it? She's in like the pharmacy.
She's still attractive.
Yeah.
I don't remember who she was.
I don't know. She was just.
Sure, wasn't Tracy Abernathy like Joaquin Phoenix's ex-girlfriend in that? Okay, here she is.
It's been so long.
She was a young girl working at the store. Yeah. I remember her.
Yeah.
That movie holds up, man. I saw it like a couple years, like last year, I think.
I haven't seen it in like over a decade. It's been so long. I need to watch it again. Maybe I'll watch it this like Halloween.
Yeah, we got to do the Halloween thing again.
That was fun.
Was that last year or 23?
Man, I think it was last year. I think we did it last year. Yeah, because I was here.
The years.
Yeah, we did. I was here.
The years are blending. I had my friend. She reached out to me she posted something, and then I commented because my friend was in it, and I was like, "Yo, that's my bro." She's like, "You told me this already." I was like, "Whoops, whoops." My memory's not great. My memory is great for certain things, but there's I don't know what it is. I think it's like when you're so consumed with all the things you're trying to do, there's only so much room in your brain. So you really got to prioritize the things you're going to remember. Like before, when I was a kid, I think I was a lot better with names. Like a lot better with names.
I've been horrible with names. Bro, if you think you're bad with names, I'm fucked. Like I'm really bad with names. Like you rattle names off the top of your head from like shows and movies and this and that. Like it's nobody's business.
Trying to grow a podcast here. That's important to me.
I know.
I had a neighbor. Now I know his name. Dude, for a year, me and him would talk. A year, every day I see him, I say, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Forgot his name. He forgot mine too, but thankfully he asked me, "What's your name?" I was like, "Oh, thanks."
It's all good, dude. I forgot.
But it was a game. It was a game of chicken though for a while. You're like, who's gonna ask first? It's like we both knew. I have no idea what your name is. Like, you're my homie. He's giving me like free hats and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know your name. So now I do, because what I did was we exchanged numbers, so now I can always have his name.
Well, there you go.
But sometimes I don't know where to find it because I forget his name again. So I don't know where to look on my phone in the contact list. So I just got to go letter by letter.
In there. You got to get a photo in there.
So I'll save contact names by not just their name, but what can I associate them with. So I'll put Bob, car guy, whatever I got to do.
What am I on your phone?
You?
Yeah. I don't like the way you ask that question. Me.
What's your name again?
That's like one of the few things I got from my dad. He's horrible with names. I'm just bad with names.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyways, Dylan, I thought when he was quitting, I was going to go to the elevator, that he was going to go to the testing floor.
Maybe he did, because we did see the light turn on.
That's a good point. Maybe he did. I didn't think they were going to let him go. Like, it just felt like a situation in which it felt too formal. Like, it was like you needed to read the fine print in that contract that you signed when you applied for this job, buddy.
He checked everything off there. Angry, depressed, disillusioned. He checked every box. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, the light does turn on because we do see him there, and then we see the light go point down. I can't wait to see his reaction when it opens up and he's still severed. And he's like, "What the frickety frick?" Whatever he's going to say. Even because that actor, I'm blanking on his name. Maybe you can look it up. So we can do our due diligence as responsible podcast hosts.
You mean Zach Cherry, that guy?
Zach Cherry. Even when Gretchen's leaving, he goes, "Gretchen!"
Yeah.
I
wrote that down in all caps on my notes. Gretchen!
Even that, I just know the whole crew just had to have been dying laughing when that happened, dude. This is a show that I would love to see the behind the scenes of certain things. There's just humor in places where there shouldn't be. Like Cobell asking, "How are you, Mark?" Oh my God, I'm doing so good. So good. My wife is being held prisoner at Lumen, and I just got brain surgery in my basement. I'm doing fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was phenomenal.
Irving has a creepy / cute dog, man. Bert's in his apartment snooping through his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Irving also had a decent dossier on Bert Freeman here, who he described as a Lumen goon.
Mm-hmm.
And who, in fact, turned out to be
a Lumen goon.
A Lumen
surprise,
goon.
surprise.
Lumen goon is a catchy phrase.
Yeah, kind of sounds
Lumen
like a vegetable or something.
Legume.
Legume, yeah, it sounds like a legume. A lumengoom.
Lumengoon.
It's like Milchick inventing that what Swedish word or whatever. Gräschupen.
yeah, Gräschupen.
I heard him talking on like an interview with I feel like it was like a late night TV host or something, and he was talking about how he just came up with his word because he used to watch like Gilmore Girls, and he loved Gilmore Girls, and loved when I forget the actor would just come up with like random words, but she was like part Swedish or something. So
that feels like a Milchick thing. That Milchick does go home and watch Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls underrated show though. I gotta be honest.
I loved it as a kid. I watched it.
You said you love that now as an adult, brother. What you said?
Of course. Yeah.
There you go.
I loved it as a kid. I mean, I haven't watched it in a
What's
long
the name
time.
of the mom? Lorelai.
You're talking Gilmore Girls. I said
Lorelai.
Oh shit.
What were you thinking?
I'm saying I was thinking Golden Girls. My bad. Gilmore Girls. Did I say Gilmore Girls? My God.
You showed your whiteness.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So my wife watches Gilmore Girls all the time. It's always on.
Like it?
It's always it's fine. I actually enjoy it in the background. It's nice. No, Golden Girls. My apologies. So Milchick watches, like the real Milchick watches Golden Girls. He loved it. He loves it. That's where he kind of got his inspiration for this word.
That also feels like it. He gets home late. It's on like a Nick at Night if it still exists, or Turner Classic Movies. Golden Girls are on.
TCM.
That's what it's called, right? Golden Girls?
Golden Girls. Ladies? Yeah. Golden Girls is the old ladies, yes. I don't know why I said Gilmore Girls.
I've never seen a single episode of that.
Really?
Never. I also have never seen a single episode of my friend Lauren, like, is obsessed with The Nanny.
Oh, yeah. Fran Drescher, yeah. I liked The Nanny. She's like the president of the Actors Guild.
Huh?
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, that's her. I was watching
the president of SAG.
Yeah, I was watching the SAG After Awards or whatever, and she came out. I'm like, what is she doing up here? And she's like the president
of SAG.
I think so. Yeah, is it SAG president? She was the president of something.
Drescher.
Yeah, that's her.
Fran Drescher.
That's the nanny. She's the fucking nanny. She's the president of SAG After.
Did you know your fellow host here is actually a SAG eligible actor?
I did not know.
I have that SAG card here.
Actually, I think I remember you mentioning something about SAG in the past. Interesting.
Yeah, I have from years ago. I'm eligible to be a SAG actor. So
what does that entail? Like what I was gonna say, how much money you got to pay to be on that?
I don't know. You got to pay annual amount. You can only do union projects as an actor. This is back when I was acting, but I got the SAG card. No, I don't have the SAG card, but I have the letter that accepted me into apply. Because you have to, essentially, in order to get a SAG card or to get the SAG eligibility letter, like everybody busts their ass to get it if you're an actor or a model. Like what you want to do is you got to get a speaking line on a SAG eligible show, on either a union show or something that is eligible for SAG. I don't even know how I got it, to be honest with you. I was shocked. It came in the mail. My
just
mom
randomly?
Yeah, no, this wasn't random. I was in a show. But the show didn't go anywhere, and yeah, and I was like involved in every aspect of that show. I filmed it, I wrote, like it wasn't mine. It was just like a web series.
Wait, so, do I know about this? Is this the show you told me like the thing that you shot way back in the day when I first started working together?
Yeah, I was literally it was college. It was borderline like a Disney show. It was like about a girl who wanted to be a musician, and I was like a good for nothing teenager.
Did you shoot that like in like a friend's house? Like there was
we shot it in a bunch of locations. It's the most random side quest of my life. That maybe not of my life, but like that was a random side quest for like a year for me. That I just filmed it. I really learned how to use a camera for the first time.
I swear I remember you like there was a thing that you did, acted in and shot or something that you sent me back when like we first started working together. That had to have been it.
It couldn't have been that.
Really?
No
you
way.
think that too late?
I don't think it was that.
Interesting.
No, I don't know if that went anywhere.
Well,
anyways,
you have
I
to send
can
it to me
always
if you
apply
can
though.
find it.
So it's the same. So that's like the guild that all the actors
Yeah.
are in that thing. So for a time, that is something that I was like, I can't believe I got it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but
it's cool. I mean, I can't say that.
Yeah, I mean it's like a random fun fact, you know. And not that you really need it, but it does. Like that's why people have to lie. Like if they don't do a union shoot, like some people get paid, like please don't tell my agent. Like
yeah,
I can't do a non-union. So, okay. Not that I know anybody who's ever done that, because that'd be a horrible thing to do. So,
okay.
Cold Harbor. We already talked about that.
Mm-hmm. I think we touched on almost everything in this episode.
No, we didn't talk about the birthing center that Cobell gets them into. Indy Mark is for the second time ever outside of work. He's coughing a lot, man. A lot.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. It's very
to the
concerning.
point where I feel like I know where this season's going to end. And I feel like his health is going to be deteriorating, because we know for a fact he has to get to the office again. Okay? So let's just break it down real quick. This is how Severance Season 2 is going to end. A week before. I'm saying this as the prophet from Lumen Industries.
All right. Let's go.
Mark, there has to be some sort of... I've been saying it for 2 weeks now, I think. There's going to be some Ocean's 11 type stuff going on here. There's going to be a scheme to break Mark in and to break Gemma out. Okay? But in order to break Gemma out, Mark's going to have to complete Cold Harbor. So he's going to have to get back in there and do Cold Harbor. Mm-hmm. Now, Dylan... What's it? Dylan G? Right?
Yeah. George.
Dylan G... We're going to take a guess that he's going to... I'm not very confident on this one. But let's just say he went down to the testing floor. So he's going to run into Gemma, and it's going to be Miss Casey. And he's also going to know about this being Mark's wife outside,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now nobody knows that he knows this information, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be integral on this sort of thing going on. Helly R is going to have some sort of duel with her dad. I don't know what's going to happen there. But she's also going to play a role. And I think Mark's going to have to get back in there. His health is going to be deteriorating to a point where he's coughing. And I think the season's going to end with Mark, like, passing out again. Or maybe we think possibly dying. PD style.
Interesting.
Who knows?
Helly R or Helly E? Helly R is the innie. Helly E is the outie.
No, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen with Helly. She's like the giant wild card here. And Irv, I have no idea how he's going to come back into the picture.
If he does,
No idea.
if he does in this season, like that. When you were talking, I was kind of thinking like, okay, well, what might happen in the next episode? And I think, yes, Mark has to go back. He has to go. There has to be a plan that's concocted with him and Cobell, where he goes back. Yeah, I think we have to complete Cold Harbor. Like, I feel like it'd be too lame to not complete it. But what if they do get Gemma out, but Dylan's the one that ends up dying because they test Cold Harbor with him? Because it would make sense. Like, think about it. It would make sense because they would have the perfect excuse for Outie Dylan killing himself.
Maybe.
Intentionally, accidentally, whatever.
I could see a scenario where Cobell, like Mark needs to get back into the office, but he needs Cobell's help. So what does she do? She pretty much ropes and like pretends like she has apprehended Mark to bring him back to work forcibly. She can say that she caught him trying to skip town or whatever. She comes back. Then Cobell has to make a decision. Does her curiosity of Cold Harbor outweigh her loyalty to try to save Mark or to spite Lumen, right? And either she's going to have... I don't think she's going to have a go with Milchick. I think she has a bone to pick with either Helena or her father. James. Right? And the reason I say that is because he's the one who stole the plan. Because if you remember when Helly or Helena and Mark have dinner at the Chinese place, what did he say? Well, you're the one who created this crazy medical breakthrough. She said, no, that was my father. So he stole that directly from Cobell. So he needs to reckon with her now, right? Maybe Drummond has a go at Milchick or vice versa. Like there has to be an all-out sort of feud between all the rivals in the next episode. That's what I think.
Yeah. I don't think that Cobell's gonna like bring Mark back because Mark said he was coming back tomorrow. So I feel like that would raise too much suspicion if that were the case. And I agree. I would not expect to see a showdown between Cobell and Milchick. Like I think we've seen this. I don't know if I would call it like a redeeming moment for Milchick, but this rebellious moment for certain. So we've seen this like active rebellion from both Cobell and Milchick against Lumen.
If I can ask something there, why did he get so emotional when talking to Mark on the phone? When Mark says it's just a job, right? You know, it's all about balance, and then he looks at the glacier on the wall. Why do you think Milchick got so emotional on that?
Well, for Mark, it might be a job. For him, it's not. It's his life. Like it's that's him. That's all he is. Mark is literally like the version he's talking to is completely separated from this mess in a way. So maybe it was jealousy. Maybe that like some sense of jealousy there.
No, I think it's like he's been completely disillusioned by what he thought this role was going to be. And now this job is just not what it's all cracked up to be, you know? And this is about as good as it gets for him. So I think he has to make a choice. Is Lumen going to be the rest of his life, or is he going to be himself? And he stood up for himself by telling Drummond to devour feculent in this episode. Because he could have said, I'm sorry again. And I was so happy he didn't. I'm so glad he had a backbone, because he was going the route of trying to change himself.
Yeah.
Right? And he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
So we end this episode with Dylan going into the elevator, Huang waiting for the bus as it arrives, Irv departing on the train with his doggo, Helly searching for the hallway, or not really searching, but trying to memorize the note to get to the hallway before her dad confronts her and drops that ominous, mysterious line that says, "You tricked me." And Mark and company preparing to go, well, not preparing to go to the birthing center, but actually in the birthing center, him, Cobell, and Devin, which begs the question, is Ragabi ever going to meet up with them before he goes back to it? I really hope that we get an actual, some execution on the things we've been building up towards in the next episode. I hope this does not, I don't think they'd do it to us. They've been building, I've been saying it. We both sort of agreed about 2 episodes ago. Feels like they're pushing everything to outdo. This show's been off air for 2 years. It feels like they're pushing everything towards this last episode. And can you find out what the length of the episode's going to be? Does Apple show us what the duration is yet?
I don't know, but I will try to see if I can find it.
It is titled Cold Harbor. We did tell you guys that last week. So most certainly we should get the conclusion of this storyline. But how far it goes remains to be seen, obviously.
76 minutes is what I'm seeing. So
that's
a little longer.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes longer than normal.
Yeah, that's a big boy. That's the longest of the season so far.
Yeah.
76 minutes. Good. We got an hour and 15 right there. That's fantastic.
I hope it
What am I gonna eat next week? We got to have a good meal for that, like a really good meal.
Why?
Because, man, it's the last episode of, I don't know, man. In life you have to look forward to things. You have to always build these little things to look forward to. Just, you got to imagine, what meal do you want for the last Severance episode? It's been a great run. Maybe a nice Chipotle bowl. I know that's not technically a great meal. Maybe some ribs, J. Alexander's, some smashed potatoes, some carrot cake. You never know. Some bread pudding.
I mean,
some pineapple.
I'm sorry, the way you said pudding, I would never expect from you.
I've been having
some bread pudding.
A lot of A lot of bread pudding pop up on my feed lately. Because I'm Cuban, that's something we do. But
Really?
anyways, let's get to the categories,
Right.
man. Yeah, we do a lot of bread pudding. It's fantastic.
Okay. All right. Let's start with best character of the episode.
Damn, this one's tough.
Really? I thought this was kind of easy.
By all
You want me to
means,
go
yeah.
first? Milchick.
Yeah.
100%. It's Milchick.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Once you think through like everything that happens in this, it's Milchick. It's definitely not Mark. It's definitely not Mark.
Yeah, it's definitely Milchick.
Yeah.
It's definitely Milchick.
How about
Audi Dillon was still a little too soft for me.
it was a little too.
You can't-
It wasn't
look,
on
man.
screen long enough either for me.
Here's my thought process. Your wife just tells you that and you still go out the door? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Still go to work. You
What happened to-
still
what
go
happened to-
become the man that your wife cheated with? Nah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck no.
Whatever happened to Gary Cooper, the strong and silent type?
Also,
You wouldn't get that reference.
No, I wouldn't. But I just had a random thought though. Any Dylan resigned. Doesn't the Audi Dylan have to resign?
We've never seen an innie resign before, so
But we've seen them try to quit. And they
Dude, I just
can't
think
because
they
their
wanna finish
Audi's like,
Cold
nah.
Harbor.
You're going
I
back,
think they
buddy.
true. But I think they just want to finish Cold Harbor, so they're not like dealing with any of this.
Yeah, but I guess to add on to that, maybe that's potential ammunition for him going down to the testing floor and not actually quitting.
I hope so. I hope it's not that he just goes back up.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Next category, best scene of the episode. I wrote 2 down, to be fair.
Milchick and Drummond.
That's one of my 2.
To be honest, that's about it. The weird boiled egg thing in the morning was interesting.
Yeah, I mean
wasn't like-
that wasn't my favorite scene. Drummond and Milchick was my number 1. My number 2 was Marquez and Cobell, and I wrote it down because I liked the line from there.
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed shortly after that. It was just like it ended so quick. But I guess we'll use that as a segue to get to the best line. What was your favorite lines of the episode?
It's pretty obvious. It's between 2 lines, and we've already
Ours is it's the
referenced them
same.
in this
It's the same.
episode.
It's the same.
It's between Mark's response to Cobell about, oh my gosh, I'm doing so good. I'm just had my wife's being held prisoner at Lumen, and I just had brain surgery in my basement.
Yeah.
And Milchick's line, of course.
And the other was devour feculent.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are totally the top 2. 100%.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
Well, for a build-up episode, we sure talked a lot.
we did. I went into this. I said off air when we were going into this, like this episode was a little disappointing as the penultimate episode,
Yeah.
right?
But you know what? I'll give you the silver lining
Yeah,
on that. I prefer a badass balls to the wall finale than what a lot of shows do, which is give you a badass balls to the wall penultimate episode, and then they give you the setup build up episode on the finale.
for the next season.
Game of Thrones notorious for that. Notorious for the epic episode and then the build up of, you know, John going over the wall and then freaking walking into the distance like, oh gosh, we gotta wait another year.
Yeah, that's true.
Ugh.
It's funny you went to Game of Thrones because I was thinking like, yeah, you just want Battle of the Bastards for the last episode on any show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I it's hard to disagree with that. That episode was freaking phenomenal. That's like the one that sticks in my head after watching everything.
So we're done. We're done with this episode. We
are.
got some. What are we gonna cover after this? We got some.
Talking White Lotus, maybe.
I'm having a lot of fun watching White Lotus. I'm not gonna cover it episodically, I don't think, but I'm gonna do a wrap up episode for White Lotus.
Okay.
So White Lotus is coming. We have Last of Us season 2 coming, which we weren't a big fan,
Yeah, not of
but
season
the people were, and we can be peer pressured with the right number of subscribers.
I think it's like what is it like? It's like 1,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000. That's some high expectations there.
If we hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll cover whatever show you guys want us to. Any show out there. Aside from Constellation Season 2.
Oh, please, God, no.
We won't do that.
No, I'm sorry.
Nor Monarch. No more Monarch.
No
Legacy
Monarch.
of Monsters.
No Constellation. I have been watching.
Dark Matter.
Yeah, I have been watching. I'm like 10 minutes into episode 7 of Dark Matter. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little burnt from the quantum multiverse. Yeah, you know when I watch it is when I'm editing this episode. That's when I watch.
I'll tell you what I'm watching right now. I'm watching this Severance, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching White Lotus, and I'm watching 1923.
Is that the one with Harrison Ford?
Yes, it's a prequel to Yellowstone.
My in-laws are watching that.
Great show.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of audience members clamor for Paradise on Hulu. The way you guys are asking for Paradise, this thing better be good, guys. This thing better be good, because me and Zach are about to swipe the business card for some Hulu. And it better be good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Paradise, people are clamoring for that. Last of Us, the Dope Thieves, I think it's called. Dropped on Apple.
Yeah.
Just dropped on Apple TV all sneakily, the way Apple does it. I really want to watch that. That's 2 great actors, so I will almost certainly be watching that.
I accidentally started the first episode, but I stopped like 2 seconds in. So I might pick that up. Thank you for listening to this episode of Severance by Story Archives. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts, Apple and Spotify podcasts primarily. You can visit us on YouTube at the Story Archives Podcast. And you can visit our website at soapbox.house, where you find links onto this show and a bunch of other shows on the network. Until then, we'll catch you in the next one.